Well, Washington's not working, and neither are 30 million Americans. Millions more Americans have either lost their homes or are at risk of foreclosure, and many are simply trapped in homes that prevent them from being able to start anew or expand in a new entrepreneurial way because they are stuck in a trapped housing market. Fraudulent actions abound, none of them or a few of them investigated, mortgage companies at the center of many of them. And as we know, a group of state attorneys general are fighting back on behalf of their constituents in their states, even where Washington at this point has failed to do so. Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, for instance, this week filing a lawsuit, and this is significant, against what is called the Private National Mortgage Registry, which probably doesn't excite you that much. It's also called MERS, which is also probably even more mind-numbing. But what you need to know is this is the institution, this is the business that is owned and funded by the large banks that processes, as you can see, 60% of the mortgages in the United States. That is the record-keeping payment collection mechanism. And the lawsuit alleges that this record-keeping and payment collection mechanism deceived borrowers by obscuring important information, cutting corners, and breaking their own rules related not only to the foreclosure process, but to the customer service process in general. And back with us again is Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden. And if you wouldn't mind, sir, give us a sense of what precisely it is the lawsuit you filed is seeking to pursue.
Well, the lawsuit filed in our Chancery Court, our court of equity, a nationally known court that you know well, charges that MERS violated the Delaware Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and mainly in that it is simply an unreliable, and inaccurate system. Look, 1995 came along, and in order to feed the mortgage-backed security industry, as you know, the Fannie and Freddie and the largest banks got together with smart people on Wall Street and said, look, it's just too much cumbersome to file and re-record mortgages in recorders of deeds offices across the country, as we have done for centuries, literally centuries. It's kind of the cornerstone of our jurisprudence, real property law. So they decided to privatize it on their own. And in doing so, they did two things. They avoided millions upon millions of recordation fees, and they were able to more quickly and nimbly securitize mortgage-backed securities. But what they forgot to do is keep track of what they said they were going to keep track of, and that is people's mortgages. And what we've seen in Delaware, in 22% of the cases that we've investigated, and this is just the beginning, they've literally foreclosed on behalf of the wrong entity. So they exercise the right to foreclose on an entity, and in one case in Delaware that we have, they foreclosed on behalf of an entity that no longer existed. So that's how screwed up this has become. They don't follow their own rules, and that's why we think they violated the Delaware Deceptive Trade Practices Act.
The best defense that I've heard of the MERS system goes like this. Let's presume everything that the Attorney General charges is true, as you just laid it out. At the end of the day, if the MERS system can accurately determine that you're not paying your mortgage, while we at MERS may have no idea who owns that mortgage, what we do know is that you, American homeowner, have not been paying your mortgage, and as a result, regardless of who owns it, we know that we need to take it from you. And I'd be interested in your thoughts on that counter-argument.
The counter-argument, I understand that counter-argument, but the bottom line is this. As much of a legal obligation as a borrower has to pay their mortgage, and if they don't do so in a timely fashion, they should lose their home. So too does the lender, and MERS, on behalf of the lender, have the obligation to prove in court and demonstrate that they are actually own the mortgage, or that they have legal title to the property that they seek to foreclose on. This is about accountability in the rule of law. Each side has to follow the rules. I think what you see, whether it be in Wall Street or the Tea Party or Americans and middle-class Americans across this country, a lack of accountability on all sides. So what we're trying to do in Delaware, and this is a very Delaware-specific thing, although I predict to you that other states will follow suit because they have similar statutes, is trying to hold those responsible accountable. In this man-made disaster, as you have covered better than anyone else, Dylan, no man has been held responsible. This entity, MERS, guess how many people it has to actually run this system? 50 people in Reston, Virginia, to keep track, as you pointed out on the top of your show, 30 million mortgages that are in their names. 37% of mortgages in Delaware held in the names of MERS, 60% in the country. How do you have a system where you have 50 people in Reston, Virginia, keeping track of this? It's mind-boggling, and we believe deceptive.
What happens next?
What happens next is we get a judge assigned, and we begin. We will in 60 days or so. We'll hear the answer to the complaint that we filed from MERS, and we then will move toward a hearing before a vice chancellor or chancellor of the Delaware Chancery Court. MERS, we've issued subpoenas, as you know, early on, and in early phases of this, they've been cooperative. We'll see how that goes going forward once the complaint is filed. Eric Schneiderman in New York has issued subpoenas out of the New York Attorney General's office. From what I read in the press, Martha Coakley is investigating MERS. I think you'll see other attorneys general do the same.
It is inspiring and encouraging to witness your actions and to learn through them and your colleagues on the state level. I think that I speak for many in this country who simply believe in the principles of fairness, forget the principles of politics, that we are encouraged to see you and others with your stature and competency engaging this problem. So thank you for not only engaging it, but for sharing it with us.
Well, thanks, Dylan. I'm a prosecutor and a consumer protector, so that's my job.
Well, we are fortunate to have folks like you out there doing it, and we look forward to learning what's at the bottom of the rabbit hole and hopefully resolving it with some courage and compassion at the same time. Thank you.